Hello Malaysians, my name is Professor Dr. Muhammad Tajuddin, and in today's video I would like to make a comment on the topic of who will the Malays accept as their Melayu Islam hero or pahlawan. Will it be Anwar, Hadi or Zahid Hamidi? Now, this topic may seem to be very strange, but it is to me a very important topic to the Malay mind. Now, like many Malaysians who feel that all you have to do to be a good leader accepted by all is just to be professional and to be fair to all, and that's it. This seems to be the universal key to success and also doing good. Well, unfortunately, in the world of politics, that is not so. And the more so in the minds of the Malays as well as in the Muslim. I will explain. Now, many Malaysians feel that we need change. Of course, we need to change from what we had with the Barisan Nasional, all the corruptions, all the mistrust, all the hatred, all the injustices done, whether you have the stateless children or the Raymond Co issue, all of this we need to change, definitely, 100%. And what would it take to change? I've already said that first we have to change ourselves. But the reality is that many says that we need to have the Malays to change. And even many Malaysians, meaning non-Malays, telling me that I don't have enough influence with the Malays. And I agree. Now, for me, I think change can come about if all of us change and not wait for some other people to change. But many people do not seem to believe that. They still feel that somebody else have to change. They don't have to change. Well, then, good luck lah. I mean, that's not going to happen. But whatever it is, everybody agrees that the majority Malays in Malaysia controls the narrative. Now, the Malays have more children. That's not their fault, in a sense. They have more children. Their culture requires them to marry early, and then, they have children because of, as I said, their religious and cultural understanding. Other societies can complain, but hey, you don't have children, so what to do? So back to the idea that you must have the Malays in order to change. At least you need a 50% of the Malays. If you don't have the whole control of the Malays, fine. 40% would be fine. 50% would be better. 60 would be wonderful. Now, how then do you influence the Malays? Now, many people like the respected Mariam Mokhtar, Titi Kasim, Nadir Swaran, and also other Malaysians like Nadir Swaran, feels that all you have to do is just do the right thing, have the right people to actually do the work. This is always what they're saying. And all the negative comments that I have read, frankly, I am very surprised and sad that many people seem to be influenced by people like Mariam Mokhtar and Siti Kasim. I, for one, admit both of them are very honest, very principled, and very intelligent. I am also very honest, very principled, and very intelligent. But the problem here is that those things matters quite not that much in the eyes of the Muslim mind, as well as the eyes or in the minds of the Malays. It doesn't really matter very much. What the Malays want is a hero. They want a Malay hero or a Melayu pahlawan, and they also want a Muslim pahlawan. You know, the Malay hero is someone like Hang Tuah or even Hang Jebat for that matter, and the Muslim hero, someone like the Prophet Muhammad or someone like Omar ibn Khattab or someone like Khalid ibn Walid. These are in the minds of the Muslim. So this is the way that politics in the Malay culture works. If you very quiet, very hardworking, nobody's going to care about you. If you are not hardworking, don't have any ideas, like somebody in the youth leadership of UMNO, you have to be very loud, very kurang hajar, very obnoxious, especially to the non-Malays. I'm very interested why this person like Akmal Saleh is not attacking the certain people in Sabah or Sarawak, who has been to me very disrespectful of much of what the unity government is doing. Now the point here is that they have calculated the issue of having to make friends with the Sabah and Sarawak parliamentarians. So they pick and choose their victims, and the KK Mat victim, the Christians in Semenanjung, not in Sabah or Sarawak. Remember, they must make sure that they shout loudly and also make clear their protection of Malayness, like the UITM issue, like the Bahasa Malaysia issue, even though they're sending their children to overseas and international school. All this is the idea of what I call political optics. Political optics means you must be seen to be a hero to the Malays and to the Muslim. If you're a good politician or a bad politician, it doesn't matter. It must be seen. So let's look at the what Tun Dr. Mahathir has done. Tun Dr. Mahathir is one of those who are, to me, very efficient, very intelligent, well read. But what did he do in order to make sure that the Malays follow him? For me, he built the biggest mosques during his time. It was only during Mahathir's time that I call the mega mosque, because I'm a so-called expert in mosque architecture. You can see the building of the Shah Alam Mosque, the building of the Damansara Mosque, the building of the Putra Mosque, building of the UTM Mosque, the building of the UIAM Mosque. All these are big, big projects, hundreds of millions of ringgit. Why? Because Mahathir was up against Parti Islam se-Malaysia. And Mahathir cannot read the Quran as eloquently as Hadi Awam. And so, what does he do? He spends billions of ringgit building mosques. So he would be looked upon as the Islamic leader. Similarly, he would organize OIC or conferences of Islam or Muslims coming together to show off that he is also an Islamic hero. Now, on the aspect of Malays, then he would stand up and attack the pendatang. And all these are all optics. They are optics. We look at how Mahathir then worked with the AP and are friends with the DAP. Before that, he is attacking the DAP. So these are political optics. Sometimes, or most times, or actually all the time, when you are doing things, there are these political optics that are planned, or if the political, if something is to be done, then it must be seen to be a very huge affair. So when Anwar Ibrahim talked about or proclaimed his support for Israel, for Palestine and for Haniyeh as a freedom fighter, as well as bringing in the humanitarian, all of these are the characters of Anwar as the Islamic reform way back when he was very young, and also early on into the government. It has not changed. So in that sense, he's very, very clear on his idea and ideals of Islamic reform. He is not someone who is making as if or lying to the people as if he is an Islamic fighter or a person who is very concerned about Islam. But with his sincerity, he needs to also show to the Malays in a sense of making public statements making certain gestures in order for the Malays to be clearly understanding that he is uh, one of these important Islamic hero. Now we can see that people like Sanusi in Kedah and people like Hadi Awang, they don't have to play the hero because they are like that. It is their own what we call their own self, their own idea about how to look at Islam and how they look at other people. So they actually don't have to do political optics. Their optics is very clear in their brash statement, their insulting words. This is quite an honest optic, we call it. But then again, they are also playing certain issues. For instance, the judi issue, the alcohol issue. A lot of these issues cannot be agreed upon based on our federal constitution, because our federal constitution was based on the idea of multiculturalism, not based on one single idea of faith per se. So they do these optics in order to show that, look, we're Islam. The concert issue, the disallowing of women to sing, all these are, again, partly optics, but partly something that they actually believe in. So what I'm trying to say is that whoever it is that's going to take the Malay votes at 50%, whether it is Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, whether it is Hadi Awang, or even Anwar Ibrahim, then all of them must have this political optics to the Malays. Thus, this is something which the non-Malays must understand. Because when I see them commenting, oh, why are you trying to pander to the Malays? Why are you trying to do this? Why? All of these people, whether they are political analysts from international universities or whether they are political analysts from local, or they are commentators like Mariam Mohta, or they are also commentators like Arna Deswaran, whether he is a great veteran, none of them, I'm sorry to say, none of them can lead the Malays. None of them can influence the Malays. Why are Malaysians listening to these people? I have great respect for political analysts, but when they say things like UMNO must come to the center, or PAS must come to the center, shows that their immaturity. Because politics doesn't work like that. Politics does not accept the idea of principles at face value. It needs to have the right time, it needs to have the right context, and it needs to have the right audience. That's politics. So if we want to move ahead into this country, we must understand the politics. Many of us say, hey man, we're earning a living. We don't have time for politics. All you have to do is just do the right thing. Well, here's the problem, I say. Politics doesn't work to you. It doesn't work to you because you are not living the life of a politician. In a democracy, all of us are in charge of the country. But all of us are supposed to be politicians in a sense that we get to say something about our country. But the unfortunate thing is that we refuse to understand that in politics, number one, you have to work with people you don't like. But then that's the same also in our life, isn't it? Sometimes our relatives, sometimes our friends, sometimes in our organization. We also work with people we don't like. What's next? Well, sometimes you have to wait before you announce something. Even though the thing calls for immediate action, you need to look at the temperature of the situation. Well, isn't it the same in our family? Is it in the same in our community? Is it the same in our organization? For me, a lot of things that we do, we take certain political optics. But then when it comes to leaders like Anwar Ibrahim, we say, no, he's not supposed to do this. He's not supposed to do that. I'm very surprised. I have been following politics for 25 years. I have seen all the political optics of Najib, of Tun Mahathir, and also now of even Anwar Ibrahim. Now, when I use the word political optics, it does not necessarily mean that some people are being dishonest. Many times, yes, they are, but sometimes they are not. That's why I said when Tun Mahathir says something, sometimes he is using political optics, what we call drama, political drama. But many times it is his own heart that is actually coming out of his mouth, and that's why there was a lot of issues during his time. I think similarly, Anwar is also a passionate person, very emotional about his causes, and sometimes he does political optics, but many times the political optics is something that is quite apparent in terms of his own belief and all that. Well, that's the leader. A leader in politics must say something from the heart, in principle, and in truth, but he or she also needs to take the situation into consideration, and many times also he needs to show politics. For instance, if the country is in some crisis, you must show a political optics of confidence, of stability. You're not going to show that you are panicking and things like that, and everybody will panic. So political optics is very important in many situations. But of course, we can also understand that political optics are just a blatant lie. True, it's very true. But then I'm trying to say that even if you're a good person, you must also practice political optics so that people can appreciate more what you are doing. And so this is something which we need to understand. Finally, just want to say that in order to change Malaysia, everybody agrees you need the Malay vote. Is there anybody who does disbelieve that? Well, so how much Malay vote? 50% is the best. 60% would be wonderful. So who are the Malays going to give the votes to? Will they give it to Zahid, or will they give it to Hadi, or will they give it to Anwar? Now, for me, I no longer trust people like Hadi Awang, although I once trust him for 30 years. But now I don't trust him at all for the goodness of Malaysia. Zahid Hamidi, he's a politician who will look at what will be his benefit. But he is not as extreme as Hadi Awang. So the only person that I would trust would be Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, because he has been to prison, he is not taking any salary, his children so far has no accusation of being in having any project of wealth and things like that, or titles. So I would trust him. But with him, he will be doing things that must appear as optics to the Malays. And I hope Malaysians, non-Malays especially, must understand that. But if non-Malays keep listening to people like Maria Mokhtar, who can just write and talk, cannot do anything, she cannot be a prime minister, she's not even here. Although what she says is very good, it's quite logical, but reality, she's not a politician, and she cannot influence the political change in this country. With respect. Now, others, political analysts, they can talk all they want on paper, but here is on the ground. The ground is where it matters. And so we need to understand that what political analysts say and what politicians think are two different things. What they say in assembly, what they say in public, they are all the time having political optics. You just need to understand whether the political optics is true or not true, have a bad intention or a good intention. And so this is why I think it's important to understand who the Malays will choose as their hero, Datuk Sri Anwar or Hadi or Zahid. Thank you.